to another episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large.
I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And on this episode, we are talking small towns, big problems, which is a topic that Caitlin decided she wanted to talk about since her trip to Miramichi. So,
a week and a half ago now, me and a couple of friends, comedy friends, we went to Bathurst and Miramichi, had a very fun, successful tour, sold out 2 venues. We stayed in an Airbnb in Bathurst on the Friday night, had a great show, good times. And then the next day we went to Miramichi. And turns out we had an exorbitant amount of time to kill in Miramichi. So we left Bathurst at like 11. It's only an hour away. And the show didn't start till 8. So we had 8 hours to kill in Miramichi, and you can only kill so much time. And so one of the things we learned by looking it up, not by visualizing, we didn't make the decision, is that Miramichi is actually the most obese city in Canada.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Neither did I. And so I kind of, once somebody said that in the car, and I started to really think about it, and I was like, wonder why that is. But also must be awfully, I wonder what services are like. I didn't really think too hard about it, except that I was just in the town as an obese person, or it's actually a city, sorry, Miramichi. And a couple of things to note. One, I spent a lot of time with these 2 other people that I was on the road with. And as much as I seem like a very extroverted person, I'm definitely an introvert. So that was a lot of time with other people.
Yep.
And so there are a couple of opportunities in that 8-hour stretch, especially in a vehicle, where I was like, okay, does anybody have anything they want to do? And I said, the sky's the limit. So we had lunch, and one guy was like, oh, I want to go to Walmart. I was like, great. I have no desire to go to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. And he went into the Walmart. The other guy ended up going to Walmart, and I sat in the car by myself for 20 or 30 minutes or whatever it was, and I was happy to do so. So one thing, watching the parking lot, definitely some people who are struggling with their weight, all heading in, and then I started to think, oh, this is accurate about Miramichi. Then I thought, I don't really sit in the Walmart parking lot in St. John. It's probably similar.
I was about to say, I think if you sit in a Walmart, wasn't there that whole website, the people of Walmart?
The people of Walmart. And they all looked great. This wasn't they weren't walking, these weren't people walking in their pajamas all sloppy and stuff. They're just people who are struggling with their weight. And I remembered from my childhood going back and forth that there was a Pennington's in Miramichi, and we had all this time to kill, and I thought, oh man, I did not pack well. I'd sure love to have a new shirt for the gig tonight. Let's go to the Penningtons. So we go look at, and then it turns out the Penningtons closed 3 years ago or whatever, some indeterminate amount of time ago. And I thought, okay, we were talking the most obese city in Canada
with not having one of the main staples for women's
clothing of who are obese, who are struggling with their weight, who are curvy girls. Yeah. And I thought, holy Hannah, where do these people buy their clothes?
Where are these people?
And obviously it's online.
Yeah.
The store obviously closed for business reasons because people are shopping online or driving to Moncton.
Do they not have do they have a Big and Tall in Miramichi?
I didn't look, but I didn't look. But men's clothing is even harder to find.
It's 100% harder.
It's it's a topic we've talked about before and we'll talk about again, but men's clothing is atrocious. But they do have a Giant Tiger and a Walmart, which both have plus size lines. I didn't go into either of those stores to check them out. And they have a Winners. And I've not ever really had a lot of success with Winners. I also find it a very big and overwhelming store here in St. John. But we had so much time to kill, and I still kind of wanted a new shirt. And so we went into the Winners. Man, I found a great selection of stuff. No, I shouldn't say that. I found a row of stuff, and I happened to find 7 shirts that I wanted.
Nice.
And got a good price on them. $150 for 7 shirts. Fantastic. The more I thought about it and was looking around, I was like, man, this must be a real struggle in this town. And then I looked at how the town is constructed. St. John is a very sprawling city.
It's one of the biggest cities.
Yeah, geographically, land area. But we do have an uptown core, which is where I live. So it is a relatively easy place to walk around, even socially and things like that. I mean, not for me right now, but we're working on it.
I mean, we have a fairly walkable city. I mean, there's definitely some gripes. East, you can't really walk to the east side,
and not easy to get groceries and like things like that. But like we do have a core where you can go to restaurants, do a fair amount of stuff. Miramichi is not that easy because it was two towns. I don't know how familiar you are with the history of Miramichi. It used to be two towns, Newcastle and Douglastown. Right? Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
Separated by the mighty Miramichi River. They combined into a city, I believe, in 1997. Somebody can check me on that. But I'm pretty sure it was 1997. It may have been 1998, but whatever. It was part of the amalgamation.
Some Miramichi historian will tell you in the comments.
Hopefully it's not the Dungarvan Hooper. That's a real fun Miramichi reference.
Oh my God.
And separated. And so it's a very sprawling city, but also with a lot of residential space. So it's not easy to their downtown core doesn't have a ton in it. So we went to a restaurant, O'Donoghue's, of which there's a really cool show on 5 with starring Jimmy McKinley called O'Don's. Shout out to Jimmy McKinley. and ate there for lunch. Delicious. And nothing really else to do, and it's got a waterfront. It's a beautiful spot. We got back in the car and drove and kept driving from one end of the city to the other, which is not huge, but not walkable. Saw nobody walking. It was a gray day, but it wasn't a rainy day.
Yeah.
And there was nobody out and about and walking. And you can see why this happened. So it must be so much harder in a small place.
Yeah. I mean,
not that it's not a struggle wherever you are, but the access to even clothing.
Yeah. I mean, when was that? Last time I've only been to Miramichi once, and I feel like I was probably 12 at the time.
Right. So
I don't remember much. I remember the hotel room. I remember there being some sort of caboose that I think was a bar.
No idea.
And I remember there being a pizza.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of pizza places, and it is a bigger center. The other small towns that I'm used to are Woodstock. It's definitely bigger than Woodstock, and it's got lots of stuff. It's got your Walmart and your this and that. Didn't have the bookstore. They didn't have an Indigo.
Well, that's because it's a city and not a town.
That's fair. Fair. And small town life is fantastic, and small city life is fantastic. There's a lot to be said for that level of camaraderie and that sort of thing, but I can see why it's.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said that 15-minute cities is a huge thing. There's definitely something to be said about them, right? Is that being able to walk in a reasonable distance to get all of your things, not only is helpful for just living, but also it gets you walking instead of get in the car, drive to a place, get out, do the thing, get in the car, drive to another place.
Well, even the parking lot alone, and again, part of this is me because I am obese. This is not a criticism thing. This is not me going with thin privilege going, look at all those fat people. I wonder what their problem is. This is it would be a real challenge to do this. The Canadian Tire and the Walmart are up on a hill, and then there's a strip mall with a bunch of stuff. And then at the other end of that strip mall, there's a Sobeys or something. And so to go to all those places, we didn't park in one spot and walk.
Right.
Because there wasn't really infrastructure for that. Nor did I want to. Let's be real here. But so we went from one parking lot to another in our car.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody was doing. That was just the norm thing to do and the thing that you needed to do to get around.
Right. Versus a city, well, not even just ours, but if you look at Fredericton or, go to New York, there's so much density and things so you can walk from store to store and it not seem that far of a walk.
Right. And The truth is, in St. John's, the same thing. Like when you look at East Point and that whole area.
Yeah, once you get east or west.
You're going to do that same thing. Like this isn't like, Miramichi, I can't walk anywhere. Like it's true here too. But the difference is, and maybe I missed something. So if you're listening to Miramichi, be like, that.
Correct us in the comments.
Yeah, like cool. Like totally. Like it's very possible that I missed something. Like
yeah.
We were just driving around like thinking of anything to do and then Googling the thing we want to do and then driving literally from one end to the other and then across the bridge again. And then one, it was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I loved the city, like a very pretty city. Loved our show that night. Like it was great.
But I think it does go. And even St. John has this issue of where do you go to get clothes, right? I, for one, am skeptical a lot of ordering clothes online because it's hard to know what size to get. Some clothes I can wear and it'll be a 2XL and it'll fit perfectly fine. And then some clothes I get, if it's a 2XL, it does not fit at all. Right. And I need to get a 3 or a 4. And for me, when I'm wearing clothes, it's about the length of the shirt, not necessarily like the size, like the actual size of it.
100%. There's something to be said for going in and feeling something and seeing it and like holding it up, even if you don't even try it on.
Right. And so yeah, I like my shirts to be slightly longer because I don't like my gut hanging out.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a 3XL, it might not really be. It might still be a short shirt.
Still a crop top.
That's right. So I have those feelings when going to a store is more pleasing. And we have this struggle here in St. John. I mean, we have the Big and Tall store, which is great. But if I want to get a nice shirt, that's pretty much it. I can't go to Walmart. Walmart doesn't really carry nice shirts in my size. They carry shirts, but they're like graphic tees. You want to have a Marvel shirt?
Yeah. Like, yeah, you can clothe yourself, but to what end? And I like fashion.
Me too.
Like I like being up on the latest to a point. Like not in a, spend all my money kind of way, but I like feeling good in my clothes.
Yeah.
And many people do. And like, I don't know. And, who's to say? This is all just, supposition. I'm not a scientist.
Listen, I am a scientist of the people.
Sociologist? Anthropologist?
Oh, I guess.
Those are also
sciences of the people. You are correct. But yeah, no, I think there is like, I'm not naive. I'm not going into an R&W Co. and picking out a shirt, even though they'll have a 3XL at R&W Co. That thing's not fitting over my arm.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I'm wearing if you're watching on video, I'm wearing 2 shirts that I bought at the Winners.
Who are you wearing?
This is a silver jeans top. Ooh. And I forget what the other one is, but it has stars on it, and I'm a star. But the silver jeans top, because that's the thing with Winners, they have these brand name clothes on marked down prices, and I like it. And it's it's working for what I'm wearing it for, open up, but it doesn't close real well. So in time it will. But the arms, they're so tight around my bicep. Like they made a plus size piece of clothing for my torso, but not my arms. And like that's the beauty of a store like Pennington's, or designed for and by plus size people, because you don't have this.
They think about the
I'm not cutting off the circulation.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Winners is one of those places that is actually pretty nice for plus size clothes for the most part. I find, because it's like last year's models.
Yeah.
So it's typically like anything they weren't able to sell at whatever store in the US.
Right. Which all, whatever. We can talk about the dynamics of clothing till the cows come home. But at the end of the day, I don't have any solutions, and I recognize that stores need business to stay in business. And like, you can't just have a Pennington's there for the poor people who weren't shopping online or whatever, because it is a relatively small population. Something I should have looked up before this episode began.
Goodness, yeah, I wonder what the population of the Miramichi is. Just look it up. Tell me.
Just keep talking.
Yeah. So I think that on top of that, I think, yeah, you're right. Like looking at population size and density is a big thing too. But when it is definitely would be a struggle for anyone in any city of not having enough places to actually go. And I know online has become a very prevalent way of shopping. It's can't put that genie back in a bottle.
No, exactly. No, because that's how we're used to shopping. Population of Miramichi is more than 17,000 and less than 18,000.
Oh, so like a small football stadium.
Right. And it's a small city and like about a third of the size of St. John.
Yeah.
But without the CMA around it.
Right.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, what is the I'll look at that player. I was like, what is the industry?
The population of St. John.
I don't even care about the population of St. John. I think we're like 40,000 and all.
No, we're like 70.
Oh, well, there we go.
And the population of the CMA, like St. John, let's say Hampton to Grand Bay-ish, is around 130 or 140.
What's the industry in Miramichi now? What do they? I think there's jail.
Yeah, and there's the federal government payroll place.
Oh, is that in Miramichi?
That's in Miramichi. We won't talk about that, but there was many stories about that. They had some stuff.
There's a brewery in Miramichi too, right?
A couple, I think.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a mill there too, but there's a mill that's also not running.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's
interesting.
It's one of those it's a northern New Brunswick town that had its heyday a long time ago and is finding itself again and is really, truly wonderful. Like,
yeah, it's not that far really if you think about it. Away. Yeah,
it was far last night when I was driving home.
Well, yeah, but I always find driving home longer.
I find the opposite usually.
Oh.
But the pouring rain and nighttime and being exhausted didn't help.
Yeah. I mean, we drive to like up to Perth Andover all the time, and that's like 4 hours, 4 hours.
That's a long drive too.
Miramichi's not that far away. I mean,
New Brunswick's small.
It's like driving to Halifax.
Yeah.
I've done that. We've done, me and Andrea have done that in like a day before.
Like up and back on the same day? Wow.
To go to IWK, not IW. The IKEA.
Oh,
that not the children's hospital, the place where you buy stuff.
Those are wildly different things to get confused. I was like, oh,
both in the same area though. So
for your child that you don't have.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to be there and be like, go kids.
Take care.
You got this.
I'm gonna go build some furniture. Would you like some meatballs?
Some Swedish meatballs. I've been to IKEA a few different times and never had the Swedish meatballs.
I don't think I've had the Swedish meatballs, but I did get a sandwich from there once and it's delicious. The food was very good. Never
eaten at IKEA.
Well, this is a topic for another day, and I've got some place to be.
Oh my goodness gracious me. All right, let's wrap this sucker up. So Miramichi, outside of your driving back and forth, you did a show there.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I do need to get up to like that side of the New Brunswick sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I used to drive there all the time, drive through because we'd always go to Campbellton and see my grandparents.
That's right.
They're dead now.
Well, that happens. But where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fat Caitlin on TikTok, Kate D on Instagram, Caitlin Dean on Facebook, and we're at Kate and Isaiah Living Large also on Facebook.
Caitlin broke there for a second.
I did.
Now I am at Maritime Brews. All the social medias, also at Tweak the Profit on some of those places as well. And of course, we still have our Buy Me a Coffee going on. If you want to help us go towards some new equipment. And if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts at, if you can like, share, subscribe over there, or you can hop on over to YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, if you can like, share, subscribe, comment over on YouTube, that is also very much appreciated. And of course, until next week, bye.